When anxiety takes over the heart, it feels like the walls are closing in, like breath becomes a burden, and the mind becomes a battlefield of fears that never speak truth. But Allah, in His mercy, never leaves a heart alone in its storm. He reminds you again and again that the one who created your heartbeat can calm it, and the one who wrote your story can rewrite the parts that hurt. Anxiety often grows when we anchor our peace to what is unstable. People, outcomes, timelines, or expectations. Yet the moment we shift that anchor back to the one who never changes, the weight begins to lift. Islam doesn't dismiss your fear, it transforms it. It takes your trembling heart and teaches it to lean, not on its own strength, but on the strength of the one who says, "Do not fear, I am with you." Every tear you shed in sujud is collected. Every silent prayer you whisper is heard. Every night you can't sleep, the Lord of the heavens sees you. Anxiety breaks you only when you carry it alone. But when you hand it to Allah, it becomes a bridge toward closeness, trust, surrender, and a peace that is not dependent on circumstance. Your heart was never created to bear the world, only to carry the remembrance of its creator. And when it does, tranquility becomes not a distant dream, but a promise. True peace begins when you anchor your heart to Allah, not to uncertain outcomes. Most of our anxiety is born from the illusion that we can control everything. What people think, how situations unfold, who stays, who leaves, what succeeds, and what fails. We grip the world with trembling hands and wonder why our hearts shake. But the heart was never designed to hold the weight of the unknown. It was created to rest, to trust, to lean on something greater than itself. When we anchor our peace to outcomes, we live in a constant state of fear because outcomes shift. People change, plans collapse, doors close, and every time life moves differently than we expect, we crumble because our peace was tied to something unstable. But the moment the heart turns back to Allah and says, "You decide, you guide, you take care of me," something in me, it's not that the problem disappears. It's that your heart no longer feels abandoned inside it. True peace comes from knowing that Allah is the only one who controls what you fear, what you hope for, what you wait for, and what you cry for. He is the one who knows what you don't, sees what you can't, and protects you from what you never knew was coming. When your heart is attached to Him, you stop drowning in what-ifs, because you trust the one who writes the what will be. You stop panicking over delays because you trust His timing. You stop fearing loss because you trust that whatever leaves was never meant to stay, and whatever stays was always meant for you. This trust doesn't erase hardship, it gives hardship meaning. Suddenly the storm doesn't feel like chaos, it feels like direct chaos. It feels like purification. It feels like Allah guiding you back to Him, teaching you to rely on Him instead of the fragile things you used to depend on. When you anchor the heart to Allah, you begin to understand that peace is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of trust. Fear may still whisper, but trust speaks louder. Worry may knock, but faith opens the door to something stronger. You may still feel uncertainty, but it no longer controls you. It no longer defines your decisions or steals your sleep. Allah promises that with His remembrance comes tranquility, and the heart finally experiences this when it chooses Him above everything else. When you say, "Ya Allah, I don't know where this path is going, but I know you are leading me," your heart finds a home even in the unknown. The world becomes lighter when you stop expecting it to carry you. People become easier to love when you stop expecting them to complete you. Life becomes softer when you stop expecting it to always go your way. Your heart becomes stronger when you stop tying it to things that break and instead tie it to the one who heals. This is the essence of spiritual freedom, knowing you don't have to hold everything together because Allah already is. You don't need to figure out tomorrow because Allah is already there. You don't need to fear outcomes because Allah's plan is always greater, quieter, deeper, and more loving than your own. So breathe. Let go of what you're gripping so tightly. Release the fear of the future that keeps circling your mind. Place your trust in the one who never disappoints. Anchor your heart to Allah and watch how everything that once overwhelmed you begins to lose its power. What once terrified you becomes manageable. What once broke you becomes your strength. What once confused you becomes a lesson you thank Him for. This is where true peace begins. Not when life becomes perfect, but when your trust in Allah becomes unshakable. Anxiety softens when you stop fighting alone and start surrendering in sincere dua. So much of what exhausts the heart is the belief that you must carry everything by yourself. The fear, the uncertain, the pain you don't talk about, the thoughts that spiral late at night, the burdens you hide behind a smile. We live in a world that constantly tells us to be strong, to handle it, to push through, even when the weight becomes unbearable. But Islam teaches a different kind of strength. A strength rooted not in self-reliance, but in divine reliance. It teaches that the moment you lift your hands in dua, you are no longer alone. In that moment, you are held, supported, heard, and embraced by the one who says, "Also, I am near." Dua is not a desperate whisper into the void. It is a direct conversation with the Lord of the worlds, the one who knows your wounds even before you put them into. When you surrender in sincere dua, you are not giving up. You are giving your struggle to the one who can actually solve it. Anxiety becomes heavier when you replay the same fears in your mind over and over, hoping your thoughts will magically find a way out. But dua breaks that cycle. It stops the endless internal battle and redirects your energy to something more powerful. You begin to understand that not every burden is meant to be wrestled with. Some are meant to be placed gently at the feet of Allah. You don't need perfect words. You don't need strength. You just need honesty, a trembling, "Ya Allah, help me," carries more weight in the heavens than 1,000 polished sentences. Allah loves the heart that comes to Him shattered, because that is when the heart is most open to His healing. True surrender is not weakness. It takes immense courage to admit, "I cannot carry this alone." It takes humility to acknowledge that your power is limited, while Allah's is limitless. When you turn to Him, the unseen chains around your heart loosen. The pressure that once felt suffocating begins to lift. Anxiety softens, not because the problem disappears, but because you finally stop trying to navigate it without Him. You stop acting like you are the only one responsible for fixing your life, and you remember that Allah is the one who opens doors, changes hearts, arranges destinies, and brings relief from places you never imagined. Dua transforms the way you experience pain. It becomes a bridge between your weakness and His strength, between your confusion and His clarity, between your fear and His protection. In the quiet moments of dua, something profound happens inside you. Your heart slows down. Your breathing eases. The noise in your mind fades. You feel seen in a way no human could ever make you feel. You feel understood in a way no conversation could ever provide. You feel the nearness of a Lord who has never left you, even when you forgot Him. And slowly, gently, your anxiety begins to melt. It doesn't vanish all at once, but it slowly loosens its grip because your heart now has a refuge. Your tears are no longer wasted. They are collected. Your words are no longer lost. They are recorded. Your fears are no longer ignored. They are responded to in ways you may not see yet, but will someday understand. Sincere dua is an act of surrender, but it is also an act of empowerment. It reminds you that you don't walk through your struggles unsupported. It reminds you that you are not invisible in your pain. It reminds you that Allah is closer than the fear tightening your chest. And when you carry that awareness with you, anxiety loses its voice. You no longer feel like you are drowning with no one to save you. You feel like you are held by the most merciful. The storm may still rage outside, but inside, a new kind of calm begins to grow. A calm built on trust, connection, and divine companionship. This is the beauty of surrendering in dua. The moment you place your burden in the hands of Allah, it no longer crushes you. You walk lighter. You breathe. You move with hope instead of fear. And slowly your heart learns that it never needed control. It only needed Allah control. Your fears are valid, but they are not bigger than the one who protects you. In moments of deep anxiety, the mind can make fear feel enormous, like a shadow stretching larger than life, convincing you that danger is everywhere and safety is nowhere. Fear has a way of magnifying itself, whispering worst-case scenarios, replaying old pains, and imagining future losses that may never happen. And sometimes, people invalidate fear by telling you to just be strong or stop worrying, as if the heart were a switch you could turn off. But Islam does not shame your fear. It acknowledges it, validates it, and then reminds you of something deeper. Fear may be powerful, but Allah is more powerful. Your fear may feel overwhelming, but it is never beyond His ability to protect, comfort, and guide you. The one who guarded you in every moment you didn't even notice is the same one guarding you now. When fear rises, it is easy to forget the countless times Allah quietly protected you, times you didn't see the harm coming, yet it passed you by. Times you thought you would break, yet you survived. Times you felt lost, yet a way was suddenly opened. If you look, your entire life is stitched with moments of divine protection. Fear tries to blind you to that truth. It makes you focus on what could go wrong, instead of the one who has always made things right. But when you remind your heart of who your protector truly is, the one who controls the heavens and the earth, who knows every leaf that falls, who hears every sigh of your soul, your fear begins to shrink. It doesn't disappear completely, because fear is human, but it becomes manageable. It becomes something you can hold, breathe through, and place in Allah's hands. Your fears are valid because life is unpredictable. Hearts break, people leave, plans collapse, illnesses appear, opportunities slip away, and the unknown always feels threatening. But while your fear may be valid, it is not final. Allah's promise is always greater than your panic. When He says, do not fear, I am with you, it is not a poetic line, it is a reality. His presence changes everything. It means you are never walking into the future alone. You are never facing your struggles by yourself. You are never unprotected for even a second. Fear becomes lighter when you remember that nothing can touch you unless He allows it. And nothing meant for you can miss you. The world may feel chaotic, but Allah's plan is never chaos. It is precise, intentional, and full of wisdom, even when you cannot understand it yet. The heart becomes stronger when it stops fighting fear with denial and starts facing it with faith. Instead of telling yourself, I shouldn't feel this way, learn to say, I feel this fear, but Allah is with me. Instead of thinking, what if something goes wrong? Remind yourself, even if it does, Allah will carry me through. Faith doesn't erase fear. It gives you a place to put it. It transforms fear from something that controls you into something that humbles you, softens, and brings you back to the one who never abandons you. Every prophet felt fear. Every righteous person faced moments of dread. But what made them strong was not fearlessness. It was reliance on Allah in the midst of fear. When you allow your fear to coexist with faith, you begin to experience a new form of courage. Not the loud, confident kind the world glorifies, but a quiet, steady strength. The kind that gets you out of bed even when your heart is heavy, that keeps you praying even when your thoughts are loud, that keeps you hoping even when nothing makes sense. This strength is not self-made, it is a gift from the one who protects. And the more you remember Him, the more this strength grows. So yes, your fears are real. They matter. They deserve compassion. But they are not bigger than Allah. They cannot overpower the one who holds the universe in his command. They cannot stop his mercy, delay his timing, or block his decree. And when you remind your heart of that truth, you begin to breathe again. Not because life be tough, but because you finally trust that you are protected, guided, and surrounded by a Lord who is infinitely greater than anything you fear. Remembrance dhikr is not a ritual. It is medicine for a restless heart. Too often we reduce dhikr to a set of words we recite without presence, without reflection, without allowing them to reach the places inside us that ache the most. But dhikr was never meant to be mechanical. It was never meant to be something your tongue rushes through while your mind wanders somewhere else. Dhikr is meant to be a lifeline, an anchor that pulls you back when your heart begins to drift, a soothing balm when anxiety tightens your chest, a gentle reminder that you are not alone in a world that feels overwhelming. When the heart is drowning in fear, regret, or worry, dhikr becomes the rope that Allah throws to you so you can rise above the waves. It is the quiet, intimate conversation between your soul and the one who created it. It is the act of turning inward, of cleaning the dust that accumulates on the heart from daily stress, pain, and distractions. A heart that forgets Allah becomes heavy, easily shaken by the smallest disappointments, unsettled by the smallest fears. But a heart that remembers Allah becomes grounded, it becomes spacious, calm, and steady. Dhikr is nourishment. Without it, the soul starves. Think of how you feel when you go too long without water. Weak, unfocused, irritated, exhausted. That is exactly what happens to the heart when it goes too long without remembering its creator. It begins to depend on the world for comfort, on people for validation, on outcomes for peace, and on control for safety. But the world is unstable. People are imperfect. Outcomes shift. Control is an illusion. Dhikr brings you back to what is real, to what is constant, to what will never fail you, Allah's presence. Dhikr is medicine because it treats the root of anxiety, not just the symptoms. When you say, Subhanallah, you remind your heart that Allah is far above your worries, far above your fears. When you say, Alhamdulillah, you shift your heart from scarcity to gratitude, from fear of loss to awareness of blue sea. When you say, Allahu Akbar, you shrink your problems by magnifying the greatness of the one protecting you. And when you say, La ilaha illallah, you reset your entire existence around the truth that there is no source of safety, comfort, or peace except Allah. These words are not small. They have the power to transform storms into clarity and panic into surrender. A restless heart is often a heart that is too full of the world. Too many expectations, too much noise, too many comparisons, too much chasing, too much overthinking. Dhikr empties that space. It gently removes the clutter that suffocates you and replaces it with light that softens you, heals you, frees you. It moves you from, I can't handle this, to from Allah with him overwhelmed, to Allah is with me, from why is this happening, to there is wisdom even if I don't see it. The shift is profound, not because your situation changes, but because see you change, your heart becomes stronger, your mind becomes clearer, your soul becomes calmer, and the beauty of dhikr is that it doesn't require perfection. You can remember Allah while walking, driving, crying, sitting alone in your room or surrounded by the world. You can remember Him with your voice or with your silence. You can remember Him even when you feel broken, confused, or unworthy. Allah never turns away a heart that turns toward Him, even if weak, even if trembling, even if unsure. Dhikr is not about being perfect. It is about being real. It is about returning and again, no matter how many times you drift away. So let dhikr become something deeper for you. Not a task, not a checklist, not a habit of the tongue. Let it become the oxygen of your heart. Let it become your safe place, your comfort, your grounding force. Every time you whisper Allah's name, imagine it softening the tightness in your chest. Imagine it wiping away the dust of fear, the stains of sadness, the weight of the past. Imagine it filling you with a tranquility that cannot be explained, only felt. Remembrance is not a ritual. It is healing, it is clarity, it is connection. It is the medicine Allah gave your heart long before anxiety ever existed. Use it, return to, and you will find that the heart which remembers Allah is never truly restless, only waiting to be revived. Trials are not punishments, they are invitations to closeness, trust, and growth. Yet when hardship strikes, the first thought that often crosses the heart is, why me? What did I do wrong? We assume that pain must mean rejection, that difficulty must mean disfavor, that tears must mean abandonment. But in Islam, trials are not signs that Allah is displeased with you. They are signs that He is refining you, elevating you, purifying you, and pulling you closer in ways comfort never could. Ease makes us grateful, but hardship makes us sincere. Ease makes us feel stable, but hardship makes us remember who truly holds us steady. A life without trials would leave the soul dry, shallow, and untested. But a life shaped by trials becomes deep, and connected to Allah in a way nothing else can create. Every prophet was tested, not because Allah disliked them, but because He loved them. Their trials were not punishments, they were pathways. They were bridges to higher faith, deeper surrender, and unshakable reliance. When you look at your own life, the moments that transformed you, matured you, woke you up spiritually, or changed the direction of your heart, those moments were not born out of comfort. They were born from struggle. Allah allows certain storms not to break you, but to rebuild you into someone stronger than you ever thought you could. These storms expose your weaknesses so He can strengthen them. They reveal the illusions you cling to so He can replace them with truth. They shake your heart so it becomes anchored in Him, not in the world. When a trial comes, it is as if Allah is whispering, "Come back to me. Depend on me. Talk to me. Trust that I am doing something within you that you cannot yet see." Trials force you into a kind of vulnerability you cannot access in times of ease. You make dua differently. You cry differently. You feel differently. Your heart becomes softer, more aware, and Allah loves a heart that comes to Him humbled and sincere. Hardship is not the end of your story. It is the chapter that transforms the main character. It removes layers of arrogance, pride, and self-reliance. It teaches you that your strength is limited, but Allah's help is not. It teaches you that you cannot control life, but you can control your response. And your response can take you closer to Him. Trials are also invitations to trust. Real trust. Not the kind that only works when things are easy, but the kind that holds firm even when everything is falling apart. Trust that Allah's plan is better than your plan. Trust that His timing is wiser than your timing. Trust that His protection is stronger than your fear. Trust that even when you don't understand what He is doing, He is still doing what is best for you. Trust that He is with you in the difficulty, closer to you in the darkness, guiding you through every step of uncertainty. When you respond to trials with trust instead of despair, the trial becomes lighter, not because the situation changes immediately, but because your heart changes. And growth. This is one of the greatest gifts hidden inside hardship. Trials stretch your patience, expand your faith, deepen your empathy, and teach you resilience. They teach you to see the world differently, to appreciate blessings you once overlooked, to let go of attachments that were harming you, and to reshape your priorities in ways that bring you closer to your purpose. Growth is often uncomfortable because it requires you to leave behind old versions of yourself. But Allah does not allow pain without purpose. Every tear waters something within you. Every setback molds something about you. Every closed door redirects you towards something better. Growth is slow, quiet, and sometimes invisible. But it is always happening when you walk through hardship with feet. So the next time a trial enters your life, resist the urge to assume the worst. Instead, see it as a sacred invitation. An invitation to talk to Allah more deeply, to trust Him more sincerely, to grow into someone more patient, conscious, and spiritually alive. Trials are not punishments. They are reminders that Allah wants to elevate you, not harm you. They are the very moments in which the love of Allah is closest. Even if your heart is trembling, even if your eyes are overflowing, even if your path feels uncertain, hardship is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It is a sign that He is working on you. And when He works on you, it is always for something beautiful. Calmness enters when you trust that Allah writes your story with wisdom, mercy, and purpose. So much of our inner turmoil comes from believing that life must go exactly according to our plans in order for us to feel safe. We want timelines we can control, outcomes we can predict, and paths we can see clearly. But that is not how life works, and it is not how Allah created the human journey. When things don't go the way we imagine, we panic. We resist. We fear the unknown because we assume the unknown holds harm. But when you truly trust in Allah's authorship of your life, the unknown stops feeling threatening and starts feeling like a place where His wisdom is working in ways you cannot yet understand. Calmness doesn't come from controlling the story, it comes from trusting the one who is writing it. Every delay, every disappointment, every unexpected turn carries a wisdom that may be hidden now, but will one day reveal itself with clarity. Allah is not writing your story randomly. He is not moving you through life without purpose. He is crafting your journey with the precision of a creator who knows you more deeply than you know yourself. He knows what will grow you, what will protect you, what will strengthen your heart, and what will guide you back to Him. When you trust His plan, you stop obsessing over what went wrong and start understanding that even closed doors are part of His mercy. Sometimes He doesn't give you what you want because He is preparing something better. Sometimes He removes something you loved because it was quietly harming you. Sometimes He slows your path because rushing would lead you into danger. Sometimes He breaks your heart because that heartbreak will lead you to a deeper, more authentic connection with Him. Calmness begins when you realize that Allah writes your story with more love than you write your prayers. He sees every tear before it falls. He hears every prayer before you speak it. He knows every fear you carry even when you hide it from the world. And He responds, not always with what you want, but always with what is best for you. This realization softens the tightness in your chest. It allows you to breathe again. It allows you to say, Ya Allah, I don't understand this yet, but I trust your wisdom over my desires. That trust becomes a shield against anxiety, a soothing remedy for confusion, and a guiding light in moments of uncertainty. When you trust in Allah's wisdom, you begin to understand that the trials you face are not random hardships. They are chapters of growth. The people who leave your life are not losses. They are divine protection. The prayers that seem delayed are not ignored. They are being prepared. The moments that break you are not punishments. They are transforming you. This perspective doesn't come naturally. It takes surrender. It takes letting go of the need to control everything and embracing the understanding that Allah already has control. Your story is unfolding exactly as it is meant to, at the perfect pace, with the perfect timing, under the care of the most merciful. And when you learn to trust in this divine authorship, calmness becomes your companion. You no longer rush life, you let it flow. You no longer hold your breath waiting for the next disaster. You breathe with the awareness that Allah is with you in every moment. You no longer fear tomorrow. You trust the one who holds tomorrow. You no longer overthink every detail. You hand those details to the one who manages the entire universe effortlessly. This trust is not blind. It is built on faith, on experience, on the countless times Allah carried you through what you once thought you could never survive. So allow your heart to rest in the truth that Allah writes your story with wisdom, mercy, and purpose. You are not wandering without direction. You are not forgotten, not abandoned, not overlooked. You are guided, shaped, protected, and loved in every chapter of your life, even the painful ones. Calmness enters the moment you stop fighting the pen in Allah's hand and start embracing the beauty of His plan. When you do, you will find peace not only in the good moments, but even in the uncertain ones, because you know the one writing your story is the same one who created your heart, and He will never write a chapter without meaning.